wanted to do something completely different today, and I wanted to explore Borderlands. And I have this awesome little character that I created using Hero Forge's website. The idea was to make it look a little bit like me before we had the scanner where I was actually able to make a scan of my face. I also have some more coffee machine parts. Now, if you remember one of the projects we did for our pit project, we took apart an entire coffee maker and salvaged all the different parts to use in that project. Well, Borderlands is sort of like a Mad Max sci-fi type of genre. I know there's some specific names, it's kind of a dystopian universe, and I think some of these coffee maker parts are gonna make for some really interesting shapes and designs. So let's get that assembled first, and then we'll start building out the landscape. My intention is to keep this pretty simple. I've got my little character, and I'll have a little claptrap droid here before too long. So they're kind of the focal point up here. I also have a couple of weird pieces that have been 3D printed. They're sort of a mix of stuff that I've designed, like these little greeby patches, and some other terrain pieces I've printed in the past. So I can position those in some interesting ways, and then we can connect some tubes, do things like, just attach that right to the side of the building. And essentially what we're just gonna do is the fun part, right? We're gonna just get everything added to this. Kitbash a whole bunch of bound parts, 3D parts, and build some terrain. Here's a pretty cool little, I think it's a piece of terrain that I got from, from somewhere. I'll find a link if I can for these things, but I mean, yes, it's kind of Star Wars-ish, but again, I think it works for Borderlands. So I put a little crate pile there, and then I have a whole bucket full of plaster rocks. I use these plaster molds from Woodland Scenic, and so as I was pouring them for other projects, I've saved them. So that'll work to add some texture to the terrain here. Little bits of rock. And then we'll take the Sculpt-A-Mold, we'll mix that up, and we'll tuck all that in here and get it all situated, leaving a good spot here for my version of me in the Borderlands with Claptrap right up front here, I think. Okay, we got all the molding compound, the Sculpt-A-Mold down. That'll help build up our landscape underneath and give us a place to add other detail to. So now we just gotta sit back and let that dry out. Base is dry, but now we need to add some rocks and texture. And I have a whole slew of different courses and styles of rocks and sand. Now in Borderlands, a lot of it has some sand, but I'm kind of liking this mixture here. There's some larger rocks and then a lot of sand. The color of this doesn't matter because we're going to paint it all anyway so that we get a uniform look on everything. Borderlands is a pretty interesting style of things. It's a big mix of different types of materials, panels and wood and metal and whatnot. So I'm able to kit bash in a really unique way. The weird shapes on this coffee maker allow me to just add all these different pieces of model kit parts that I can kind of bash together, because it does appear very much like Borderlands is assembled pretty haphazardly with whatever's left. I also have, my friend James Cully, some cool little monitors, and I noticed in some of the Borderlands concept art and things, there were various bits of electronics like that. This guy here, this little one here. So I'm gonna build some kind of terminal right here that makes absolutely no sense, and that thrills me to death. Now I do have 2 bins full of all kinds of greebly bits from model kits, but I also have an awesome set of coffee maker parts that have all kinds of strange and weird little plastic pieces that, made the coffee maker work that now I'm going to use to make a Borderlands diorama. So this piece here coming across. Okay, I think I could probably keep adding bits and parts and pieces to this for days, and that probably would overdo it a little bit. I think we have enough detail and enough little random bits and pieces. I even added some stuff to the inside of this to kind of give it some depth. So I think now we need to go ahead and get it primed, and then we can actually get to painting. So we have our almost Borderlands Brian character here, but we do need an actual Borderlands figure. So I've 3D printed Claptrap. Ah, damn it. Okay, so we have the paint job done, and I added some white streaks. Now I'm going to take a black pen, and I'm going to add some of the detailed lines that you see in the artwork. And just that little line, all of a sudden, is starting to give the little Claptrap the detail you need to see. Well, I'm going to call this little guy done. I added his arms and painted up a couple of red cables up underneath his arms and all the little comic marker scratches on it. So yeah, now we need to paint the other character. I don't know if that's the greatest paint job ever in history, but it actually works okay. It sort of matches the aesthetic I'm going for, and these guys look pretty good together. All right, here's the base with a zenithal highlight on it. And we're going to have to start by airbrushing several sections, and then we can come in and do some hand painting on it. All right, I think we've got all the weathering on there that we want. I have some foliage I want to put on here, but I'm going to take and do a little bit of the ink work like I did on the actual figures. And let's see if we can do this without screwing this thing up.
what, my geeked out friends, I know this wasn't a Star Wars project, but I had an absolute blast trying something different from a different genre, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see us try some other genre type items and give it a little mix up on the channel, we'd love to know about it in the comments below. Other than that, we'll see you the next time we build something out of nothing.